Hello and welcome to a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ alongside Joe Musso. I am Hakeem Dermish. Moving day at the Masters where Rory puts himself into position to do what golf fans have longed to see on a Sunday at Augusta.
McIlroy in full stride this Saturday, but one with game enough to keep pace. The faces of the sport emerging Saturday at the Masters. Moving day in Augusta, and they wasted little time putting it in motion. A packed house atop this leaderboard with Justin Rose entering the day, a one-shot advantage. But Rory McIlroy passing on the left, wasting little time, coming off that 6 under 66 in round 2. In search of that career grand slam, but you take it one at a time. As for shot number 1, McIlroy, 371 yards off one tee. Some 50 yards farther than anyone else on Saturday. Readjust your cameras. McIlroy stating his intention clearly. After a nice wedge in from 10 feet for birdie, a 3 to start for Roars, and there'd be plenty more to follow. Two-time major champion Bryson DeChambeau looking to add a garment to his 2 U.S. Open titles. We pick him up early on. A birdie putt, unlikely at that, at the par 4 first, 45 feet. A triple breaker, our Trevor Immelman called it. Well, he got all 3 of them right. Down the hill and in, grabs a share of the lead at 8 under with Justin Rose. Back to Rory. His 3rd shot now at the par 5 second from long of the green on approach. Throws it out right, and it's coming back down the hill and in. Oh, Roars. A chip-in eagle catapults him to the lead all alone. Next hole, birdie putt, 7 feet. A dream start for McIlroy. 2-shot lead just like that. After a par at number 4, another birdie bid at 5. This time from just inside 20 feet. 5 under through 5 holes, McIlroy in full stride. 6 consecutive threes to start his round. The first ever such occurrence in Masters tournament play. Corey Connors making his 8th Masters appearance. They say that's right around the sweet spot where ability and experience meet, and it sure looked like it on Saturday. Stuffed that one into the 10th like a tote bag from the Masters Pro Shop. Chock full. He'd make birdie there. A 3rd straight, now 1 shot off the lead. Connors enters Sunday in 3rd at 8 under. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler underwhelming by his standards here on Saturday. Here at the 12th, looking to save par. That one goes begging, and Scottie would sit T6 at day's end, 5 under. Back to Rory, who now holds just a 1-shot lead after giving back shots at the 8th and the 10th. Trying to get back on track at the par 5 13th. Par 5 scoring so important here at the Masters, and McIlroy again takes advantage. Birdie, a 2-shot lead, 10 under. Back in gallop. Now at the par 5 15th. Crested the hill and looking down at that historic putting surface. A towering 6-iron for McIlroy, and he's walking after it. Roar louder. This one hole high for McIlroy, and a beautiful look at eagle. The emotion starting to pour out of McIlroy, and it's going to be big emotion on Sunday. Rory to the bottom. Alert the Taylor, the man wants it. A 4-shot lead for Roars. Back to DeChambeau now at the par 3 16th. Bryson, he has an ace here prior in Masters play, and he'd give it a scare here on Saturday from 172 yards out. The perfect landing spot just beneath the hole would set him up for a birdie. Bryson back-to-back birdies as he rounds his day into form. Ahead, McIlroy looking for one last bird at the par 4 18th. From 16 feet, playing borrow off the left, but this one just shy of another circle for Rory. 12 under, your leader through 54 holes at the Masters, and it appeared that lead would be 3. Well, take another look. DeChambeau at his finishing hole. From just off the putting surface, 48 feet. A flair for the dramatic, that Bryson DeChambeau, the greatest showman. One last bit of magic on Saturday. Sets up an all-time Sunday as it's a birdie at the last for Bryson, who engages the patrons like nobody else. DeChambeau within 2 shots as we turn our attention to Sunday at the Masters. McIlroy carrying his first 54-hole lead at a major since 2014, 4 of 5 in converting those 54-hole lead majors. We'll see if he can do so Sunday at the Masters and capture that career Grand Slam. Final round coverage coming your way on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Our final pairing offering thoughts post-round.
It'll be the grandest stage that we've had in a long time, and I'm excited for it. We both want to win really, really badly, and it's, shoot, there's a lot of great players behind us too. We've got to be mindful of that and focus on, it's about who can control themselves, who can execute the golf shots the best, and in regards to the patrons, it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Tomorrow, when that final grip's going to be, it's going to be a little rowdy and a little loud, and I'm just going to have to, settle in and, really try to, keep myself in my own little bubble and keep my head down and, sort of approach tomorrow with the same attitude that I've tried to approach the last 3 days with.
Adjust your settings to the early aughts for but a moment. With a win, Bryson DeChambeau would be the first reigning U.S. Open champion to win the Masters since 2001, when Tiger Woods did so. As for Rory McIlroy, well, the history here need not be explained. Looking to collect the career Grand Slam, the first since Tiger in 2000. It was a Saturday we will not soon forget. Rory McIlroy putting the finishing touches on another 66. As he did on Friday, he does again on Saturday and carries a 2-shot advantage into Sunday at the Masters. 9 threes on the card for McIlroy as he inches ever closer to the career Grand Slam.
Today, in fact, you're the first player in Masters history to start with 6 straight threes. Take me through that beginning part of your round and how you didn't allow the adrenaline to take over.
Yeah, I mean, look, a dream start, even just making a 3-on-1, the chip in on 2. Harry said to me, it's about time everyone we've played with this week's chipped in, so it was about time I did. But yeah, I got off to the best start. And then, you're trying to keep it going, and it's a little difficult. The course got pretty tricky there towards the end, especially the greens got a little firmer. Felt like I was leaving myself above the hole every single green, so I couldn't really run putts at the hole. But I played a little wobble around the turn there, but then I played a great solid back 9, and obviously the 2 par 5s helped.
You told me staying within yourself was going to be a key. You certainly did that. Let's take a look at some of your highlights, starting off where it all began on the first.
Yeah, I had a really good tee shot, only had 107 yards in, and hit a nice sand wedge to here, and that was a perfect way to start. This on 2. Yeah, I had a really good 6-iron. It just went a little bit long, but played that well. And when those chips go in, it's a bit of a bonus. But yeah, it was awesome. This on 3, again, one of those ones that's like down the hill. You're just trying to coax it down there. You don't really feel like you can even make a putting stroke. You got to hit it so soft.
With the crowd erupting at this point, what's going through your body here?
Yeah, this was big. Going on to the 6th tee, I was just sort of trying to make a 3 to keep that 3 streak going. I sort of knew what I was doing. I had a great second shot here out of the first cut to get it to the back of the green, and that was a really key up and down for me. There was a putt on 11 for par as well, which was big too. And then, yeah, this was the 6-iron on 15. It was a perfect number to just hit that sort of high floaty one in there. And I knew that's what you needed to do into this green. It's been very firm all week, and that was obviously the best shot of the day. And
Nance called that the most majestic 6-iron he's ever seen. That's pretty impressive.
High praise from Jim. Thank you. And then to convert the putt was awesome. Again, that was more of a flat putt compared to some of the other ones I had, especially 16, 17, and 18, all sort of down the slope. So. Yeah, I mean, I felt like I maybe could have got 1 or 2 more out of the round, but I'm not going to complain. It was an awesome day, and obviously puts me in a great position and going into tomorrow.
It's not lost on you or any of us who you'll be playing with tomorrow. Bryson DeChambeau, the last time you two met, it was at the U.S. Open. It did not go your way. How satisfying is it to have this rematch tomorrow, and what will it take to get it done?
Yeah, I think the big thing is not to make it a rematch. Stay in my own little world. There's a few other people on that leaderboard that could make a run. So I just have to do what I've been doing, as I sort of surround myself in my own little cocoon and just get into my own little bubble, and he'll do what he does, and I just have to stay firm and Yeah, just stay in my own little world.
Incredibly well done today, Rory. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Jim?
Thank you, Amanda.
All right, so a look at the card for Rory McIlroy. The start was the stuff of dreams. Birdie, eagle, birdie. 6 consecutive threes. The first ever player, as you heard Amanda Balionis refer to ever start a round at the Masters with 6 threes in a row. Did give a couple back in the midst of this round, but that ground regained at 13 and 15. Rory McIlroy, a 2-shot lead and 18 holes away from golf immortality. Our post-round coverage continues here on CBS Sports HQ. We have the distinct privilege up next to take you into the Butler cabin. Thoughts with Trevor Immelman coming up. It was a special Saturday at Augusta National. Moments of inflection. This at 15, where so many Masters moments have unfolded before. Rory McIlroy, a towering 6-iron into the par 5. Well, he knew his number. Hole high and a chance at his second eagle of the day. McIlroy, par 5 scoring here, buoying his Saturday that had circles abound. The start spectacular, gave a couple back in the midst, but that ground regained with the eagle at 15. McIlroy's lead to 4 there, but cut to 2 with an unlikely putt by Bryson DeChambeau at the last from some 48 feet. The greatest showman, ready for a show on Sunday. Pours it in from range, and he will share that final pairing with McIlroy on Sunday. The energy could be felt across Augusta National on Saturday. One can only wonder what Sunday has to hold. A 2-shot lead for McIlroy in search of the career Grand Slam. We now have the privilege of taking you inside the Butler cabin, where 2008 Masters champion and our lead analyst of Golf on CBS, Trevor Immelman, joins us. Trev, you have been a part of some days, but this one has to rank up there. How special was that 5 hours of golf?
Oh, it was just absolutely brilliant when you start to think back to all the great shots we saw, the hole outs, the putts, the brilliant bunker shots. The start that McIlroy got off to was just incredible and so much fun for us to have the privilege, as you said, to be able to call that and be a part of the action.
We try not to cheer from the booth, but you can hear the roars coming up, and it feels like the collective golf world is getting Rory McIlroy to that place, or trying to at least. What of what you saw here on Saturday in his round makes you feel like the man is ready to meet the moment on Sunday?
Well, really the last 2 days, the resiliency he showed after he came undone on Thursday with the double bogeys at 15 and then at 17. He was 7 back after round 1. Immediately had a short night because he had to play early the next morning and came back with such brilliant golf over the last 2 days. It really has been impressive. And it's not just him. Look, the patrons here, they treat everybody the same and they hand out love equally. But you got to think to yourself, with DeChambeau, with McIlroy, in my opinion, the 2 most popular players in the game right now, we are just set up for a spectacular Sunday.
DeChambeau confirms our final pairing with that long one at the last. Trevor, he has a knack for the dramatics, and once again, we'll see those 2 foils sharing the stage on Sunday. How do those styles, respective to one another, inform what you expect to see on Sunday?
Well, they're quite similar from a power standpoint. Both of these guys really do hit it a long way out there, and they're going to be able to take advantage of the par 5s in particular. I would say that McIlroy's iron play so far has been a little bit better at times. Bryson has struggled with the distance control, but then around the greens and on the greens, DeChambeau has just been on fire. Some of the short game shots that he hit today, I think back to the 10th where he made a brilliant save from well below the level of the green, 14 as well. Just fantastic. Even the 2-putt at 17 and then making the long putt at 18, the short game absolutely kept him in it. And he clawed his way with 3 birdies in the last 4 holes to just be 2 back in striking distance. And he knows the last time that these 2 guys went down the stretch head-to-head in a major championship at the US Open, he got the better of McIlroy. And
it was Matador-esque, the look to the patrons on 16, as if to say, it's game on. He will be a part of this conversation come Sunday, adds another there at 18. A thought here on McIlroy, because history does hang in the balance, Trevor, and all that he has to deal with over these next 24 or 20-so hours. You slept on a 2-shot lead some 17 years ago. What is it to manage the emotion from now until T-balls fly on Sunday?
Yeah, look, it's difficult. You try your best to keep it out of your mind and stay focused, not get distracted by anything, but it's hard because you're speaking to people. He's now going to go and spend some time with the media. He's going to have time around the family tonight, just reminiscing about the past few days and the opportunity that he has tomorrow. So it'll be a tough night. It'll be a tough night in particular because of the scar tissue that's built up of all of these close calls after for the last 11 years where he hasn't quite been able to get it done at a major championship. And now he's presented with this opportunity to just become the 6th man ever to complete the career Grand Slam. He has a huge mountain to climb tomorrow, and he's got DeChambeau to deal with as well.
A Pinehurst reprisal. We're so lucky to watch it all play out. Trevor Immelman, an amazing call by you and Jim Nantz as always. We look forward to Sunday on CBS.
Me too. Thanks, Moose.
The class of the sport, Trevor Immelman, always a key addition to our coverage here on CBS Sports HQ. What a Sunday we have in store. As we'll always have you up to speed with your highlights, analysis, and as you saw, a trip into the Butler cabin. Join us on Sunday on CBS Sports HQ. Back on Post Round on CBS Sports HQ, where Rory McIlroy will carry a 2-shot lead into Sunday at the Masters. Thanks largely in part to his par 5 play, as he stated his intentions clearly, chipping in at the par 5 second for eagle. And then this towering thing of beauty at number 15. Walking after it with good reason, McIlroy to hole high pours in his 2nd eagle of the day. Almost exercising demons from where it came apart on Thursday. He offers an eagle here on Saturday. A 6-under 66 for a 2nd consecutive day. McIlroy in front by 2. Rick Gehman and Michael Breed join our coverage from the grounds there at Augusta National. Fellas, critics, the questions, everything they have to say answered here over the last 2 days by Rory McIlroy. A final answer still required, but give us a sense, Rick Gehman, of what Saturday was like at Augusta National.
It was awesome. It was truly awesome, and it was quick out of the gate. I mean, by the time, as soon as all of the groups got on the golf course, it seemed like there were fireworks everywhere. You know, Rory McIlroy makes birdie on the 1st. Bryson DeChambeau makes a long putt for birdie on the 1st. I mean, you've got Corey Connors rolling one in. Shane Lowry, it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. You could hear the roars coming from all over this golf course, and then the way that it played out over the course of the next 5 hours was magic. And Rory, of course, I'm sure we're going to talk about it in depth, Michael, you know, did exactly what he needs to do to win a Masters over the course of the last 2 days. And still, Bryson, the greatest showman in all of golf, has found his way into that final group. I mean, we are setting up for something that is going to be truly historic and truly special.
You know, it's interesting because I'm going to go even farther back than where you started. I'm going to start with this morning when I saw the hole locations. And I looked at where the hole locations were, and it was predominantly left. There were, I think, 8 left hole locations, 3 center hole locations, and 7 right hole locations. That math adds up. Hold on, I got to carry the one here, Joe. You know how I hate to carry the one. So I'm at 18. And what was interesting was that like 15 was a right hole location. But the second you saw the hole locations, you immediately thought to yourself, this is set up for a drawer. A right-handed player moving the ball from right to left. And then Zach Johnson goes out and he shoots 66. Yeah. And you start thinking to yourself, boy, there could be some real fireworks out here. And then to your point, you get the fireworks. As Rosie is standing over a par putt on number 1, and he's looking at this and examining it. Over on number 2, here comes Rory. He's dropping a pitch in from behind the green on 2. And then DeChambeau's making that long putt for birdie, and it was off to the races. It was an amazing day, and to me, it was just typical of a Saturday at Augusta National. That's what it looks like. I've seen this story a lot. I know I've been here going all the way back to 1989, and this is what Saturday looks like, and this is why we all fall in love with this place, because it's incredible what they do, how they set the golf course up, the understanding of the nuances to this incredible design and these green complexes. It was going to be awesome, and it was magical again.
Michael Breed has played witness to the scars that precede Rory McIlroy at this place as well. We're going to push it forward to Sunday here in just a bit, but more reaction to these 18 holes of golf, because Rory also made his way about the grounds with supreme confidence. Rick, we talk often about the Rory bop. He was taking that in tow with him all day long. Michael, what in the golf swing right now is breeding that sort of confidence in Rory McIlroy?
Well, I think it's interesting because he's been playing great all year long. I don't know that he was searching for emotion as much as he was just trying to get to a point where he was able to trust himself. And I think that's where Bob Rotella has been a huge asset to him. But I go back to a shot that he hit yesterday at hole number 10 where he took it appeared to be a wedge or 9-iron, and I mean he made a golf swing, and this thing was, Moose, I call this Santa Claus. This was right down the chimney. That ball landed absolutely hole high, ended up hole high a couple of feet. He made birdie there. He did the exact same thing at 6. When that came off the club, for a guy like me that I'm watching golf swings and I know what a good one looks like, and when that happened, I went, oh, this is going to be close. And when he started walking at it, I went, oh, this one's going to be really close. And then I was reminded of a Faraday situation when Tiger Woods was on his way to winning in 05, and he had one that was tracking at the hole on 15, and Faraday said, leave the flags alone. That's what came out of his mouth. And that's what I felt like when I saw that shot out of Rory on 15.
We have seen so many major championship rounds out of Rory McIlroy in the last 11 years. Just lack momentum, things going wrong, him getting bad bounces. This was the polar opposite of that. To get off to the start that he did, birdie, eagle, birdie. It has only been done 6 times in the history of the Masters. To do it while you're in contention to potentially complete the career Grand Slam is unheard of. And for Rory McIlroy to get that momentum, Moose, it was awesome. I mean, we don't see that. I think back so often to the 150th Open Championship where, Rory enters the final round with a lead and makes 18 straight pars. And just like, when were we going to get started on this round? Well, Rory got started on this round immediately. It was unbelievable.
How about 6 straight threes? Moose, you and I can do the math on that one. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, simple multiplication is all that we will ask here. And he made for some simple math there to start the round, the first time anyone ever has started with 6 consecutive threes in Masters play. We are now also in store for just the 4th time in the last 30 years that our final pairing will be comprised of 2 multi-time major champions. It's going to be grand theater on Sunday, and we've seen these two spar before. Not in the same pairing there at Pinehurst. Rick, when you look at the importance of Bryson DeChambeau making his way into that final pairing, not just making his way in, but sort of kicking down the door with that final putt, the greatest showman, as you referred to him as, how excited are you to see what he can shake up on Sunday?
I will not sleep tonight. I will go back and I will watch Bryson YouTube videos. I will watch the highlights from today. Rory does not want to make this about Bryson. He does not want to make this a rematch. Bryson does. Bryson will feed off of this. Bryson feeds off the crowd's energy. Rory McIlroy is probably the only person on the planet who could compete with with Bryson DeChambeau with the driver. We saw Rory hit a 71-yard drive on hole number 1. We saw him carry the bunker on hole number 2. You know who is going to try to go toe-to-toe with Rory McIlroy with the big stick? It's going to be Bryson, and it is going to be a sight to behold. These two are just the two biggest, most popular entities in our game right now, and another major championship where they're going to battle for it. I cannot wait.
There were a couple of very interesting things that took place in this round 3 for me. One was the period of time for Rory. On 8, he makes a bogey after an errant tee shot in that bunker down the right-hand side. It was a bad layup, and then he tried to take on that whole location from just a poor position. He ends up making a bogey there, and then he ends up 3-putting hole number 10, and all of a sudden he's let one get away on 8, he let one get away on 10, and now he's faced with a 7-footer on 11 to save par, and he makes it. I thought that was a huge moment, and then obviously we know what he went on and did for the rest of that second 9. The other big moment to me was Bryson DeChambeau. He makes a birdie at 15, he makes a birdie at 16 after knocking the flag down, another one of those Santa Claus shots, and then he makes that bomb at 18. And you start thinking about those whole situations and the fight that each one of them showed. Bryson played his way back into this tournament, playing those last 4 holes in 3 under. And Rory McIlroy saved this tournament by making that big putt at 11 and then going on and doing what he did for the rest of the second 9.
Bryson starts his day with an unlikely birdie at 1 from range, ends it with an unlikely birdie from even further at number 18. The putter buoying his round where maybe distance control had lacked. Not the calling card of Bryson DeChambeau, but we are sure that he's going to iron some things out on the range and maintain a main character status come Sunday. I want to talk about a character that perhaps exited stage left. I hesitate to say so with his 2 Masters green jackets already in his closet. But Scottie Scheffler, at all a surprise here on Saturday, Rick, the way that he was unable to ascend the leaderboard?
Yeah, and he had a lot of opportunities, the missed putts, and I actually think, Michael, you did a great job of laying out the issues that he was having on Friday's second round, and it was very much the same in what he had on Saturday. That left miss off the tee and a couple of struggles with the putter. That's really it. He is somebody who prides himself and really beats out his peers on giving himself so many more opportunities for birdie than everybody else, and it was a little bit more of a scrambling nature. You can see flying the green. That's something he did multiple times in this third round. The inability to regain or at least hold on to momentum by making some of those medium range par putts, those weren't dropping for him. So just really a difficult task as you're watching the rest of the leaderboard, especially guys like Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau separate away from you.
He was a little bit off today. He was a little bit off yesterday, and I went back and I watched his entire round from round 1, and he was a little bit off. He got away with some bad swings. He got away with some errant shots that didn't find a bunker, that wasn't really out of position poorly. And it seems to me like he's just a little bit off. And so when I look at Scottie, I think to myself, he's close, but he's just not on the point where he needs to be. And he wasn't there today, and I don't know if he's going to be there tomorrow.
We'll see if he injects himself into the conversation come Sunday at the Masters. We cannot wait, fellas. We're going to, again, preview the entire final round here shortly on CBS Sports HQ. If there is a third name, Michael, that you want to offer to us here outside of that final pairing, someone to keep an eye on Sunday, who is it in your eyes?
Well, this is a hard one because I might just be like a third name. It might be Rory McIlroy and then obviously Bryson DeChambeau. I think those are probably the 4 names that are involved in this thing, but there's only 2 human beings. You start looking at this, and this is where I am in my mind. I always try to get on Sunday, what do I think the winning score is going to be? The winning score, and Rory in his press conference yesterday said he thinks it's going to take 12 to 15 under to win. If we assume that 15 under is the number, and you look at this leaderboard, can 12 get to 15? Absolutely. Can 10 get to 15? Absolutely. Can 8 get to 15? It's a stretch, but it can be done. But I don't think any of the 6s, 5s, or 4s are going to be able to get to 15. And so at that point, the question is there a 7 under par round out there for Corey Connors? And I'm not saying Rory or Corey can't shoot 7 under, Rick. I just don't think that a 7 under is out there for Corey. I think that this is a 2-man race.
Yeah, we were trying to do the math here earlier, and this exercise doesn't look great for Corey Connors because if there is a 7 under 65 out there for Corey in the penultimate group, one of those 2 guys at the top of the leaderboard are shooting something just as low or good enough to separate themselves. So the math does not work out very good for Corey Connors. This is a 2-horse race. This is Rory McIlroy or Bryson DeChambeau in almost all certainty at this point on Sunday night is going to be a Masters champion. Just saying that is absolutely crazy. And then the ramifications and shockwaves that either one of those are going to send through the golf community. I'm excited to see how it all plays out, and even then, of course, what the next handful of months looks like.
When we get Rick Gehman out there on site, guys, he's a little bit away from his data that keeps him safe on a day-to-day basis. I will offer you the models, spitting out 13 through 15 as our most likely winning score. So, again, we do the math, and it does look like a two-man race at the Masters. Rick Gehman, Michael Breed, we'll talk to you more in a bit. Final round coverage coming your way beginning at noon Eastern, streaming on Paramount+. Full coverage coming your way on Paramount+ and CBS beginning at 2 Eastern time. You'll have full highlights and analysis post-round right here on CBS Sports HQ. Coming up, 18 more remain, and maybe it's really just 2. Rory and Bryson going head-to-head. We set the stage next. Back here on CBS Sports HQ, presented by Bank of America. Time now for Road to Achievement, and maybe road gives way to bridge. You crossed some historic ones here at Augusta National, and Rory McIlroy hopes to do so on Sunday as a champion. This eagle at the second, the catalyst for his round, and again here at 15. Crossing the Sarazen Bridge to pour in his second eagle of the day. McIlroy in prime position to capture the career Grand Slam. A look at his card on the day. McIlroy, 9 threes in total, 6 consecutive to start. The first ever in Masters history to begin with 6 consecutive threes. Stalled a bit in the midst of this round, but rallies on his way home. McIlroy 2 clear of Bryson DeChambeau. CBS Sports golf analyst Doug Bell in with his thoughts. And Doug, that was a day. I don't know how Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau are going to conjure something for Sunday, but what a special Saturday this was. We were left with a number of lasting images. What's the one you can't get out of your head?
Well, Joe, first off, I'm racking my brain. Was there a better Saturday at the Masters in recent memory? I don't think so. This was, from start to finish, was so incredible theater involving not just Rory and Bryson, but so many other players were rolling in birdies. Zach Johnson, 49 years old, shoots a career low 66, which really set the stage because we knew the birdies were out there. And then when Rory birdies number 1, Joe, the first time in his career that he's ever birdied number 1. My goodness. And then he chips in for eagle at number 2, and Harry, his caddy, leans over and said, it's about time. We've seen everybody else chip in this week. Why not us? So there were so many indelible moments, but the way Bryson closed like a heavyweight champion who was behind on the card, and then he comes out swinging in the 15th round, and he lands the knockout punch. Now, it wasn't the definitive knockout punch, but you birdie 3 of the last 4 to pull within 2. It was high drama, Joe, something incredibly special as we look again at Bryson rolling this inexplicable putt. I mean, this 18th green is so difficult, and from where he was to get the read and the speed and marry it all together, oh my goodness. And look at the crowd, Joe. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is.
It certainly is, and that is the word to describe it, because I liken it to what we saw at Valhalla a year ago. Doesn't end up winning the PGA Championship, but pours in an unlikely putt at the last to at least apply some pressure to Xander Schauffele. Bryson has such an understanding of the moment and a keen ability to meet it. How does he do that time and again, and what does that look like on Sunday at the Masters?
Joe, great question, and what a stark contrast as Rory walked in between that gauntlet of fans after finishing at 18, very stoic. He had blinders on and never looked either way as he goes in to sign the scorecard and do the interview with Amanda. And then here comes Bryson right out of the WWE or the UFC, rolls in the birdie. And Joe, how many high fives and fist pumps did he give to the crowd as he was going side to side, rolling to sign his scorecard? So I think to answer your question, we're going to have a very tight and stoic Rory out of the gates tomorrow. I think that's the way it's going to be. And I think Bryson is going to be in the moment that he loves. He relishes. We saw it at the U.S. Open last year. The crowd's going to anticipate this knockdown, drag out, and I do believe it's a 2-horse race. But I think initially, Joe, I think Bryson is better prepared for the pressure of the moment. We'll see as the butterflies leave these players how it unfolds.
Like a bullfighter, he looked to the patrons on 16 and said, it's time to go. Bryson sprints home and injects a little bit more life into this Sunday. 2 shots back of Rory McIlroy. Dovetailing off what you said there, Doug, this is a weight of a moment for McIlroy that it is not for Bryson DeChambeau. Anytime a green jacket is out in front of you, especially for the first time, it's going to carry weight. But all the scar tissue that Rory has accumulated over time, we talked about it a couple hours ago. What does that do for Rory one way or the other, and how does he best engage with it over these next 20 or so hours?
Well, Joe, I think it's amazing. He has not led a major championship after 54 holes since Valhalla, the PGA, in 2014. That is a long time ago. And then, Joe, he has to harken back, right, to 2011, a 21-year-old led by 4 going into the final round at Augusta, still was clinging to a lead heading to the second 9 when he hit that atrocious hook over near the Eisenhower cabin, shot 42 on the back, and collapses with an 80. You can't just forget that, right? So I do think the scar tissue will linger tonight. It's what champions do. You sit back and your mind is racing. Golfers never forget a shot. I mean, I remember interviewing Jack Nicklaus. He'll tell you shot for shot what he did in 1965 at Augusta. So Rory remembers. It'll be a factor tomorrow. He's got to block it out. As for Bryson, there is no scar tissue. Although I will say he's never opened with 3 straight rounds in the 60s in a major, so he's on a good trend, but obviously so is Rory. 66-66, pretty strong in rounds 2 and 3.
I believe it was after heartbreak at the Old Course that Rory McIlroy choked back the tears and said, as long as I continue to put myself in these positions, it will happen for me. He's going to have to make it happen on Sunday with his foil there in Bryson DeChambeau. When you look at these 2 skill sets, both prodigious in their length off the tee, maybe a little bit better ball striking in favor of Rory McIlroy around the green, maybe an advantage there as well. Where do you expect this tournament to play out on Sunday? Where's the moment, the inflection going to happen in your eyes?
Well, I think early on we will have nerves. I don't think Rory's going to birdie number 1 again. Not many people do. I think the second hole is an absolute key. Let's see who hits the good drive at the par 5. I think that's a big advantage. Whoever can knock that down and get it close, maybe a 2-putt birdie or maybe roll in the eagle. That's a significant hole. Today, Rory on Saturday, birdie's number 5, which is an extremely difficult par 4. That was when he was in that run of 6 consecutive 3s that had never been done in Masters history. So, Joe, I think the key is getting off to a solid start. And I harken back, Greg Norman, 1996, had the 4-shot lead on Nick Faldo and maintained that 4-shot lead through 4 holes. And then suddenly the bottom fell out. So we'll see. Again, I think it's getting off to a fast start and then holding your nerves in check. The crowd's going to be... I mean, these guys have been involved with big crowds their whole careers, right? But nothing like they'll experience tomorrow, which is a statement in itself when you think about that.
We heard Rick Gehman say it prior, and one way or the other, this is going to be a worthy Masters champion that comes out of that final pairing, which it is likely to, as it has for the last 8 Masters we have seen. And it's going to be a story at the headline of the sport, certainly so. When you take a look at maybe a footnote to this day on Saturday, Scottie Scheffler, we expected to push harder than he did. The numbers were not there. The game still escaping him in some moments. What did you make of the Saturday here for Scottie?
Well, a disappointment for sure. And I know he had high expectations going into the weekend. You know, he starts off bogey-free 68 on Thursday, comes back a little bit on Friday, but we thought maybe that was just an anomaly. That was just a bad day with the winds. And he credited the unpredictable winds to his play, missing 8 greens in regulation, but continued today. It was very unusual. He had that miss going left. Hits that left to right shot constantly off the tee. I had the double cross going off the tee, and then just missed a lot of iron shots, which is not his MO. So I think he won't win the green jacket. Maybe it's something, a top 5 finish would be great. But, Joe, I think down the road now, look out at the U.S. Open and beyond. I think Scottie will be a very motivated guy following this week at the Masters.
Okay, so Doug Bell says that Scottie Scheffler will not win the green jacket. That leaves you with 52 other options on the right side of that cut line, but maybe it is just 2 options. Doug Bell, who was our Masters champion this year?
Well, we know how good Bryson is, right? Even though the world rankings has Scottie and Rory and Xander 1, 2, and 3, and the LIV guys don't get the world ranking points, but we know Bryson's right up there in that conversation. He's going to be on the Ryder Cup team, there's no question. But here's the way I see it, Joe. In football terminology, right? Rory has played the tougher schedule coming into the Masters. Beat back a terrific field at Pebble Beach. That was a signature event. And then beats back the most competitive field in golf at the Players' Championship. He's played more solid rounds this year. In fact, I dare say he's played the best golf of his Hall of Fame career up to this point. Bryson plays on LIV. Hasn't played those kind of rounds, hasn't played the number of rounds or the competitive rounds. I'm going with the guy, the thoroughbred. We're at the home stretch, right, of this great horse race. He's 2 lengths ahead, and I think it would take something awfully special for Bryson to win the green jacket tomorrow, and Rory would have to help. Don't see that happening. I think Rory will be number 6 to complete the career Grand Slam.
Wouldn't we be so lucky? Either way, it's going to be pure theater Sunday on CBS. To your football illusion. One more drive down the field. Just get it across that goal line, Rory McIlroy. Doug Bell, appreciation as always, pal.
Thanks, Joe.
It's a club of 5. 24 hours from now, it could be 6. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and most recently, Tiger Woods a quarter century ago. Will Rory McIlroy etch his name into history and complete the career Grand Slam on Sunday? Back on HQ Post Round, presented by Bank of America. Positioned never better. Rory McIlroy entering the final round in a place he knows before, but as a young man back in 2011. And we'd rather not recount what happened with a 4-shot lead in hand. McIlroy cutting a final round 80. Sunday, perhaps something special for McIlroy. Back with Rick Gehman and Michael Breed here to set the stage for Sunday at the Masters. It's a day we dream of all other 364, and it's here in quite the cast of characters that we have. The past, it's something we know well for McIlroy and others, Michael, but how does the scar tissue at this place inform what you might see on Sunday?
Well, I mean, this is you really don't want to go down this path. And it's not just here, actually. It's also at Pinehurst. Mm-hmm. There is some scar tissue that comes out of Rory's mind. And the question is, what will be said to him by Bob Rattel? What will be shared with him from Brad Faxon? There's almost certainly going to be a phone call and a conversation with Tiger Woods. And what will be shared with him then? And let's not forget about the conversation that he had with Jack Nicklaus. I mean, these are people that no doubt are going to reach to him, either by text or by phone. Right. And what Rory needs to do is you know there's going to be a difficult moment that's going to take place tomorrow. There's going to be a time, much like what happened today, 8, 9, 10, 11. How is he going to work through that? And is it going to be one of those mindsets of, here we go again? Or is it going to be one of those mindsets of, you know what, I can conquer this. I hit a bad shot. It's okay. The wheels are not coming off. You just made a bogey. Let's now deal with this next shot. And I look at this through the lens of he has got to make sure that he keeps his mind in the one shot at a time business. And Rick, let's not forget what happened on 15 on Thursday. He hit that shot into the water. He completely forgot that he could have played another shot from right where he was. And he talked about that on Friday. He said, I didn't even know, like I forgot that I could do that. That's how out of sorts he got. And he needs to make sure he doesn't get into that frame of mind on Sunday when those troubles come upon him.
Yeah, these are not little demons, and there's not few of them. These are big demons, and there are many of them, right? He is trying to snap a decade-plus major championship drought after being a prolific major champion early in his career. He is trying to overcome the career Grand Slam, the missing leg of the career Grand Slam. And, oh, by the way, this is also a place that when we just saw the footage, you make the turn there at number 10 with a lead. That tee shot, you know, God forbid he gets there with a multiple shot lead on Sunday. He's going to have to hit that same tee shot that we just saw end so poorly. So this is a perfect storm of Rory McIlroy having to face all of his demons over the course of 5.5 hours on Sunday at Augusta National. And I don't know how he is going to react to those. There is a chance to exercise all of them with one round of golf, but it is not going to come easy. And Michael's right. Things are not going to go perfectly throughout. You're going to have to overcome some mistakes or bad breaks or something that is going to change the mindset for Rory. And however he reacts to that will determine if he's our Masters champion or not.
It will be emotional upheaval one way or the other for Rory McIlroy on Sunday at the Masters. Again, a 2-shot lead over Bryson DeChambeau, who edged him out at Pinehurst within this last calendar year. Rick, when you look at what McIlroy accomplished on Saturday, in terms of the way that he took his talent around this golf course, the way that he started, we've talked about patience throughout this week. What should the strategy look like for McIlroy and for DeChambeau on Sunday?
Well, very similar to what he's done over the last 2 days. You know, he drove it so well, especially early in the round. That's Rory McIlroy I'm referring to here, that he gives him such a big advantage with the driver. And, you know, we've been talking about this week so much. I feel like we've broken down every one of Rory McIlroy's holes at some point, or shots this week. And he has objectively, to me, played the best golf, Michael. I mean, those 2 shots on Thursday, this could not be a 2-shot lead. This could very easily be a 6-shot lead. He has been by far the best player in this field this week. It is not particularly close. He just has to do the same thing again on Sunday.
Well, and he's played this way all year long. I mean, the guy's got 2 wins. Look, the whole thing is going to boil down to where he is in his mind and how he's able to ignore the noise. And there will be noise in his mind. There will be noise coming from people like us that are putting information out there. There's probably going to be something, you know, back in 2011, he was at 12 under. He's at 12 under now. There's going to be these crazy things that people are going to reach to try to make this a big moment. What he has to do is he has to stay away from the televisions, stay away from the papers, and that will be the hard part. That late tee time that will take place tomorrow in the 2:30 area, what does he do? We heard Scotty Scheffler talk about the amount of time in the morning, how difficult that's going to be. And so you start to think about all this, and you put it all together. This will be a difficult moment from the time that it gets about 10 o'clock tonight until the time that it's about 2:30 tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very interesting time for Rory McIlroy. And the hope is, we all feel this way, the hope is that he's able to stay laser focused on what he has to do on that opening tee shot and every moment after that, singularly, not collectively.
It will be one way or the other an exciting Sunday here on CBS. And fellas, our last 8 champions have come out of a final pairing, which means we will have a 57th member of that elite group, either Bryson or Rory slipping on a green jacket, not to do away with the rest of this leaderboard, but it looks like 2 are head and shoulders above the others. Michael, this tournament has a way of sorting things out before the stretch run. If we look back in recent memory, 2022, Scotty Scheffler largely unchallenged after the second hole. We had 30 holes between Rahm and Brooks in 2023, with Rahm racing past Brooks at a certain point there around Amen Corner. Scotty largely unfettered a year ago as well. Is this the year where we finally get one of those classic Masters good to the last drop on 18 green?
You know, it's an interesting one because they've got a significant enough lead over the majority of the field. There's one player who's sitting there at 8 under par, but everybody else is at 6 or less. And what I worry about is, do they just joust a little bit? Right. And do they play a little bit cautious? And do they kind of stop going after hole locations that they should be going after? Do they maintain that sort of aggressiveness off the tee that we saw from Rory, where he went out there and he took on that inside of the dog leg at hole number 1 and then took on the bunker at hole number 2? And so the question is, do they just kind of joust here, or do they go out there and they try to make a statement? I think Bryson could go out there and make a statement. Yeah. You wonder what Rory will do.
It is interesting because Rory has been playing with essentially a reckless abandon the last 2 days after what he did on Thursday. So he has been just gas pedal all the way down, and now he's got a 2-shot lead. And does that strategy change? Does he do what you're talking about, Michael, which is, okay, well, I don't need to take on all of these pins. I don't need to hit driver on all of these lines. Bryson has been in chase mode through the entirety of this tournament, and we know his demeanor, we know his attitude, we know his personality. That's not stopping. He is going to be incredibly aggressive, and he's going to try to do things that rattle Rory. I mean, that is the truth. He is going to try to turn this into a battle of personalities. He's going to try to get the crowd going. He tapped in for birdie on 16 in the 3rd round, and he looked around almost like, where's my applause? Give me more. I'm ready to go. I mean, he is going to ramp up the crowd. He is going to try to get into Rory McIlroy's head.
And by the way, there's a lot of people in there already in Rory McIlroy's head. I don't think that he wants to let anybody else in there. And Bryson, by the way, he doesn't have any demons like Rory has demons. He doesn't have that. He's got, hey, I took him down at Pinehurst. I hit maybe the most memorable shot of 2024 out of that bunker, and I've done what I needed to do to win that. So I kind of feel like, you know, 2 shots, it can happen quickly here at Augusta National. It can evaporate fast, and we'll see what happens.
The last time we saw a birdie at the last to win by 1, all the way back in 2004, when Phil left Earth for but a moment to capture his green jacket. We can't wait for Sunday, fellas. One thing left to do. You've been given picks in the lead up to the Masters. We allow one more re-edit. Rick Gehman, your pick to win on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to say this first, Joe. I mean, enjoy this, right? In all likelihood, no offense to the rest of the field, either Bryson DeChambeau or Rory McIlroy is going to be a Masters champion tomorrow. That is an unbelievable statement and is going to change the face of professional golf. Rory McIlroy is going to either complete the career Grand Slam and end this decade-plus winless drought in major championships, or Bryson DeChambeau is going to have more majors than Scotty Scheffler. He's going to hold both the U.S. Open and the Masters title at the same time. He's going to win a big one for LIV. I mean, this is good versus evil. Both sides think their guy is the hero, right? It is going to be incredible theater. I cannot wait for it. But with all that being said, I'll go back to my point earlier. Rory's been the best player in the field this week. It has not been close. I am terrified. I am worried. I am hopeful, Michael. I think Rory McIlroy gets it done.
I'm with you on this one. I was going to say Sonia Henny's out, so I'm going to go with Rory McIlroy. This one to me is this is kind of a fun one because what your heart wants Rory. That's where you are. Your heart wants Rory McIlroy. You've been rooting for him. You've seen him overcome some demons. You've seen him experience an unimaginable missed putt a year ago at a U.S. Open at Pinehurst, and you're kind of like, okay, it's got to be his time. And he's going to do something here that hasn't been done in 90 years. It was done by Eugenio Saraceni back in 1935. Yeah, that guy Gene Sarazen that we called when he made that shot on the 15th for that double eagle. Well, Rory McIlroy, if he wins, he will do what Gene Sarazen did 90 years ago. He clinched his career Grand Slam here at Augusta National. Those would be the only two people that will have done that. I'm rooting for that kind of history, and I hope Rory gets it done, so I'm saying Rory McIlroy.
Time between, and these next few hours could feel like an eternity for Rory McIlroy as he waits that late tee time on Sunday. Rick Gehman, Michael Breed, sleep fast, and we will see you on Sunday. What a day we have in store. Cancel the plans, ladies and gentlemen. Be with us on CBS, Paramount Plus, and post-round here on CBS Sports HQ. All your Masters needs met and exceeded. Join us on Masters Sunday.